All right, ready to dive into a career that's making waves?
I am, are you?
Always. We're talking water-based aquaculture technicians today.
Sounds a little niche, no.
Maybe, but it's a whole lot cooler than people realize. Think high-tech, sustainable food production that's actually helping to shape the future.
Okay, you've got my attention. What exactly are we diving into?
We're using RoleCatcher's career guide as our roadmap for this one. They've done some really incredible deep dives on different career paths, and this one really stood out to me.
Their stuff is usually pretty insightful. So what's the gist? What do these technicians actually do?
Well, first things first, forget any images you have of quaint little fish farms. All right.
Okay, no quaint little farms, got it.
We're talking about massive underwater cages, floating rafts, cultivating shellfish, long lines stretching across the ocean. We're talking about intricate systems, cutting-edge tech, and a whole lot of science behind it all.
So less about feeding fish and more about managing complex ecosystems.
Exactly. These technicians are like the engineers and architects of these aquatic ecosystems, making sure everything runs smoothly. Monitoring water quality, adjusting oxygen levels, customizing feeding strategies based on the specific needs of the species.
Wow, so there's a lot more to it than I initially thought. So what does RoleCatcher say a typical day looks like for a water-based aquaculture technician?
Well, it's definitely not all sunshine and splashing around, if that's what you're picturing.
Let's be real, most jobs aren't.
Right. These technicians are on their feet, they're outdoors, they're dealing with the elements, sun, wind, rain. It's a demanding job for sure.
Sounds like it takes a certain type of person to handle all that.
It definitely does. But it's also incredibly rewarding, you know? Imagine watching thousands of fish thrive under your care, knowing that you're playing a vital role in producing a sustainable food source.
Okay, I can see the appeal. There's a real sense of purpose that comes with this career, I imagine.
Absolutely. So it's clear this isn't your average desk job. But what about the skills you need to succeed in this kind of environment?
Yeah, good point. RoleCatcher actually calls out a really interesting mix of, like, brawn and brains.
Oh, so you need both.
You really do. I mean, obviously passion for aquatic life is huge, right?
Makes sense.
But it goes way beyond that. You're talking about understanding complex biological systems, water chemistry, fish nutrition.
Okay, so like what those fish are eating really matters.
Absolutely. But here's the thing that I thought was super interesting. RoleCatcher emphasizes how crucial technical skills are in this field.
Yeah.
Like they say, a good water-based aquaculture technician needs to be almost as comfortable with a wrench as they are with, say, a fishing net.
Whoa, seriously?
Yeah,
Think about it, right?
So we're talking repairing and maintaining all that high-tech equipment you were describing earlier.
Exactly. Pumps, filters, aeration systems, the whole shebang. You got to know how to fix it if it breaks, because remember, these are really delicate ecosystems we're talking about. Even a small equipment malfunction could have a big impact. Yeah, that makes total sense, right? You're responsible for all those creatures. Speaking of high stakes, let's talk career outlook for a sec. RoleCatcher uses the phrase good job growth, which sounds promising.
Sure.
But I'm curious, what does good really look like in terms of actual salary opportunities, that kind of thing?
Right. Well, one reason we're seeing this growth is because, well, the global population keeps growing.
More mouths to feed.
Exactly. And that means a growing need for food, especially sustainable protein sources, which is where aquaculture comes in.
Like the old saying, give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. Teach a man to raise fish sustainably. Well, you get the idea.
Right. And all that growing demand translates to more jobs, better salaries, even cool opportunities to specialize.
Oh, speaking of specialization, RoleCatcher outlines a career path. Right. Tell me more about those different levels, because I'm already picturing myself as some kind of, aquaculture master.
I love the enthusiasm. Okay, so you usually start as an entry-level technician, right? You're assisting with the day-to-day stuff, feeding, cleaning tanks, monitoring that water quality.
Got it. Paying your dues. So what's next on this underwater ladder to success?
From there, you move up to junior technician, which means more responsibility. You might be supervising a small team, maybe troubleshooting equipment problems, potentially starting to specialize in a particular species or a certain kind of aquaculture system.
Okay, now we're talking.
Right.
I bet those junior technicians feel pretty official.
And then finally, you reach the peak, senior water-based aquaculture technician.
Ooh, the top of the food chain. Okay, I need details. What does an aquaculture maestro actually do all day?
Think big picture.
Yeah.
You're designing feeding strategies, but you're also managing teams, maybe even collaborating with scientists on research projects, experimenting with new, more sustainable aquaculture practices.
Now, that is what I call a career with some serious impact. But I have to ask, what about the downsides? I mean, we've talked about like rogue waves, long hours.
Yeah.
RoleCatcher mentions exposure to outdoor elements, and I'm sensing a theme here.
It's true. It's true. I mean, you really have to be realistic about the physical demands of the job. We're talking about like being bundled up in rain gear on a stormy day just to check on your fish.
Yeah.
Or sweating under the sun while you're hauling heavy equipment.
Yeah.
It's not for everyone.
And it's not just the weather, is it? I mean, we're talking about working with live animals here, which any pet owner will tell you can be, well...
Unpredictable.
Exactly.
Yeah, things can change on a dime in an aquaculture environment. You could be dealing with a disease outbreak or sudden changes in water conditions, or who knows, maybe you've got an escape artist fish on your hands.
Okay, so you're constantly adapting, problem solving.
Oh, absolutely. You got to be resourceful. You got to think on your feet. And you got to be okay with a little bit of chaos sometimes, you know?
Sounds like it takes a special kind of person to thrive in that kind of job.
It definitely attracts a certain type, that's for sure. But hey, that's what makes it exciting, right?
True, true. So to sum it all up, if you're looking for a career that's physically demanding, mentally stimulating, and allows you to make a real impact, water-based aquaculture technician might be right up your alley. And hey, remember that platform we talked about, RoleCatcher?
Oh, yeah, definitely. That could come in handy.
Big time. If this whole aquaculture thing has piqued your interest, RoleCatcher is the perfect place to, dive a little deeper. They've got tons of resources to help you figure out if it's the right fit.
Yeah, their career guides are super detailed. They cover everything from salary expectations to day-to-day responsibilities, even education requirements.
And don't forget about their AI-powered job search tools. They can help you tailor your resume, practice your interview skills. It's like having a secret weapon in your back pocket.
Exactly. And who knows, maybe you'll be the one managing those massive underwater fish farms someday.
Maybe. All right, folks, that about wraps up our deep dive into the world of water-based aquaculture technicians. Big thanks to RoleCatcher for the awesome insights. And to all our listeners, thanks for tuning in. Until next time, keep exploring those career paths, and remember, the future is full of possibilities, so go make some waves.